you're here. Push the button, Max.
Yeah. I'm a fact finder and I'll remind you, believe when I say I researched this all day, but we are two-sided puzzle. You need to rebut. All I say with all of your ragings, tell me why I've got red hair and ginger pubes. Tell me why you bitch and moan, it's all you do. Now it's time to get drunk and go on stereo. That's the two-sided way. That's the two-sided way.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know if you know this, but that is baby making music right there. That is baby making music. That is how a lot of the children have been sired down under. Oh, giddy up, baby. Here we are. My man in Amsterdam. That was a shout out to our good friend Mr. V, fucking down under mate. A classical musician. He's not classically trained, but he can pick out. He has a good beat, and you can dance to it, and that's what I get down with.
That's right.
That's what I'm with. His musicianship is lacking, but his fucking tenacity is all making up for it.
A real classic, a real mensch.
A real mensch.
Speaking of, hold on one second.
Oh man, I fucking love you guys, eh? That shit's so good. It gets better every time I hear it.
Mate, I'm telling you.
No, I fucking love you guys.
Cheers, brother. My favorite. It does get better every time because I hear it like more. I hear all the words now. It's like, why red hair and ginger pubes? I'm like, he said ginger pubes and he rhymed it. That is brilliant, bro.
You bitch and moan, it's all you do. That's the rhyme.
Right? And not only did he rhyme it, but he nailed it. It's like he took a little peek into our souls. Hey, you red-haired ginger pubed fuck, and you bitch and moan. Yes, go on. I'm listening. You had me at bitch and moan. You had me at bitch and moan.
My latest edit I'm very proud of because I extended it. I gave him one more of the "That's the two-sided way" all by himself.
Yeah, no, you need to. You got to finish it off. That's the whole. It's like a good performance. You got to have that one a cappella note holding out for the crowd when they lose their shit. The lighters come out. The bras and panties start flying. That's the two-sided way. You can see titties in the crowd right now. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant, my man.
Hey, I say let's do a shot and start the show, huh?
Yep, let's giddy up. I got shit to do today, John. I don't have time for your tomfoolery, your shenanigans. I'm a man about town. Here we go. And that's what happens.
I'm John L. Peacock out in Brooklyn, New York. This is my boy Pete in Southern California, and you're listening to Two-Sided, where every episode I challenge Pete with a bit of the two sides of life, the fun and the serious.
And I take that challenge and I retort aggressively and reactively right back at him. I say, nay, sir, it is the right and the wrong, me and the you. You, your red hair, your ginger pubes. I will piss and moan. That is all I will do. And I say nay.
And if anybody thinks that this might be just on-air personalities, it's not. Pete, what's one of your main handles? Me,
not you. Me, not you. Me, not you. If you ever play any video games across anywhere of the Western United States hemispheres and you see me, not you on the header, the leaderboards, that is me. I do a lot of hard work, a lot of bars. Me, not you.
Let's get this message and jump into our first segment.
Yeah, baby.
I can always re-record a line for you. I can go, that's the two-sided way.
Yeah. He keeps going. It echoes. What's your favorite color? Red. No, blue. Oh!
We're getting into our first. Trash can room. Oh, wait. No. Lightning round.
Trash can room. Lightning place. You couldn't even get the round right. You're like lightning trash can. It's a double wide domicile that property taxes are high this time of year, but round.
Bloomberg. Anybody knows that our first lightning round of the evening is always a standard Q&A. Standard Q&A. Pete, are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of TNA.
First question. Name 3 possible realities.
That's a trick question, John. There's no such thing. And how dare you try to make me quantify anything in that realm? You, sir, are a demon who must be destroyed.
This is just going to get worse and worse. Okay, next question. Describe to us dimensions as they relate to physics as you know them.
Dimensions?
Dimensions.
Oh, dimensions. I say dimensions. Well, John's a real mensch. I mentioned him earlier. I mentioned this guy. I also referenced that. It's like I recognize Sudetenland. There you are, Sudetenland. I recognize you. Or spotting someone in the gym. There you are. Can you help me? I spotted you. I'm not lifting shit.
Right.
There's a lot of dimensions. There's a third dimension. There's a fourth dimension. There's all the dimensions we have that we have no time for, John. I have no time for this dimension.
Okay, third question. Was there time and or space before the Big Bang? And how did they manifest?
Oh, bro, now you're just assuming that I believe in a Big Bang theory, and you think that I will kowtow and co-sign that. Oh, no, my friend. There is no such thing. There was a lot of things before. There was a lot of things after. There was no such thing as. I didn't hear the sound, therefore it wasn't a big or a bang. I was listening. I'm all ears. I'm like a rabbit in a field when it comes to sounds in the universe. And I didn't catch anything. However, there is the veil of forgetfulness. I know about that. I know about the den of iniquity. I know about the great and spacious building. I think I nailed them. I think I got all the big hitters there. Did I win?
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it to you.
All right, fair enough. Ooh.
Final question. Is the universe infinite? Is the universe infinite? Infinitely big?
No. I personally cannot believe in infinite. I just believe that we're too simple to see the ends of anything. It's like you still believe in like, oh, you're one of those round earthers. Like, yeah, because you can't see the edge where we fall off, right? But you haven't got there yet. If you travel more, maybe you'll understand. There's no such thing as infinite. You're going to get to a point like, yep, There it is. That's all she wrote, folks. And like, yeah, it'll keep going, but it'll be something else. It'll be like, this is all cartoon world now. It's like, yep, got to the edge. Found it. Finite,
what about
very finite.
Small? Is the like looking into atoms, subatomic, quantum levels, etc., etc. Does it keep going?
Oh, now you're talking about the Fibonacci sequence and the different things in nature of like they're infinite, and here's these patterns that continue to go. And like, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, like, just stop looking. Just stop looking so far. Maybe if you look far enough and you nailed it, attaboy, you get a hustle sticker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lesson of the day is stop looking.
Bless you, no.
Let's hit some of these messages.
That's right, Pete. You got to know those things when you're a king.
Exactly.
It's
all about when you have to rule your subjects with fealty and grace. That's what I say.
He's just reminded me. Trash can, lightning round place thing. So it's like, hi, I'm from room 251 and I'd like a sandwich, please. Hi, I'm from room 251 and I'd like a sandwich, please. Okay, I can do this. How may I help you? Hi, I'm a sandwich.
Trash can room, lightning place, sandwich in my 215. Come on down. We're answering questions in the two-sided pod at gmail.com. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that alert button if you like what you're seeing here, folks. If you don't, hit it again, and we'll probably come out and find you. We know where you live, and we've seen where you're sleeping. God damn it, your mother will cry when she's seen what you've done to you. But also smash that subscribe button.
Dimensions about the minge.
Ins. Hey, that guy's a real mensch. Ins the sides, if you know what that means, in the ins. He's a good egg, that mensch.
That's right.
God damn it, I love you some Dre. Good folks. Kigo, I'm ready. Kigo.
We're jumping into our first segment of the night, which is Rolls-Royce. That's right, Rolls-Royce motor cars and their biggest year yet.
Are you going to tell me what the biggest year yet is? Is that this year? Was that last year?
We'll get into it.
Was that the 30s?
We'll get into it.
Okay, I'll listen. I'm excited.
What do you think of when you hear the word or the words Rolls-Royce?
I think of stealing the emblems off of hub cars. I think of those guys, and the nicer Rolls Royces recede back into the car so you can't steal them, and so you are then left to your devices of getting the Mercedes-Benz ones. So that's what I think of Rolls Royce.
So Rolls-Royce, currently in its current state, is a British luxury automobile maker. Rolls-Royce Motor Cars Limited operates from purpose-built administrative and productive facilities opened in 2003. It has, although Rolls-Royce has the brand has been in use since 1906, the Rolls-Royce Motor Car subsidiary of BMW has no direct relationship with Rolls-Royce branded vehicles produced prior to 2003. This is something I had no idea about.
No way. So they somehow just took the name over and like, yeah, we have nothing to do with those guys, but we're that name still. Shut the fuck up. That's great. I didn't know we could do that.
Other than they helped, they were engine and other suppliers of Rolls-Royce prior to 2003. So they were the supplier, and then they just became the thing.
That's awesome, John. I mean, I'm trying to figure out a way I can do that. And like, it's like, you guys like Giorgio? Well, you'll love Primo, and I am Primo.
Bentley Motors is a direct successor of Rolls-Royce and various other predecessors. So Bentley was founded in 1998 through 2003, and then they just took it over, and they just became. They also have a Rolls-Royce subsidiary.
I want to know why. I want to know why. Because right now I'm seeing like, oh, there was a financial thing, and someone did it to dodge a bullet, and then got the name back to get more money. Tell me why. Tell me why.
So Volkswagen AG took ownership of Bentley name, as well as the previous Rolls-Royce production facilities and the previous Rolls-Royce design. Volkswagen technically has the Prodigy has the direct connection to the old Rolls-Royce, but then they just stopped making them. And who is it? BMW, who took on the name, just started using it. So Volkswagen, old owners, stopped using. BMW took the name, had some crappy Rolls Royces for a little bit, but in 2010, the chief executive, Torsten Müller-Ottfos, joined the company and said, I am going to make it as good as they always had it. It's going to pledge to regain the quality standards that made Rolls-Royce famous. That year, China increased their buying of Rolls-Royce 600%, and they are now the second biggest market of Rolls-Royce after America, after the United States.
That's Tolson, Flugen, Olsmeyer. Yeah. That was actually my stripper name when I first started dancing professionally right out of college. I was the Swedish meatball. Was what they called me, and I was like, right. Yeah, oh yeah. Olagsfagen, Snurk. I got nothing. But yeah, okay, I'm with you. I like those names.
So since then, it has really the prestige of the old Rolls-Royce, which, the history of it, they were always handmade motors. They were never the factory line like Ford, and that's what made them special and elite and different. He brought that back. It has that prestige. And because of the name, it has the history, even though prior to 2003, it actually has no direct connection to the original Rolls-Royce whatsoever.
See, that's cool, but at the same time, it's like handmade, man. Like, oh, it's handmade, but one little defect, one little, like, someone sneezed while they're chipping out a little rotor, like, right. Pink, and you're fucked. Like, you had a bad day, and now somehow my camshaft is screwed because you drank too much last night. I'm like, nah, man, give me that Henry Ford. Speed up the belt, speed up the belt, speed up the belt. give me the Henry Ford all day long, baby.
So that's a little bit of the history. We know the prestige. We know that on our end, when we see a Rolls Royce, all we're lusting for is that little thing on the hood, because that's the best we're ever going to get, the emblem.
The hood ornament, yeah.
Yeah, the ornaments. Yes. Yeah, that's how fancy they are. Their cars have ornaments.
Right. It's like Christmas all over every time you drive that motherfucker. It's an ornament.
So Rolls-Royce Motor Company had its best quarter in its 117-year history. So they are actually combining both companies into this statistic. Fueled by the pandemic, the world's wealthy have been snapping up its vehicles and filling the order books, setting sales record for the first quarter of 2021.
See, but it's, again, at that point, like, why? Like, hey, remember how we were all locked up? We can't drive anywhere. There's nowhere to go. We'll get a fucking $100,000 car so you can not go anywhere in style.
Oh, interesting that you say 100,000. So the next thing I have is just an example of one of their models. The Dawn, which is a Rolls-Royce convertible model, starts at over 350,000, and that's before any options.
Right. That's basic, off the lot. That's poor man's style. That's like,
that's right.
You shouldn't be eating here if you can't afford a tip. If you can't afford options, you should not be getting the Dawn. That's what I'm saying.
That's a great analogy. The poor man's rich person car.
Exactly. It's like saying, I want a high-class meal. Let's go to Chipotle instead of Taco Bell. Whatever, fucker.
So Rolls-Royce delivered 1,380 cars in the first quarter alone of 2021, which is up 62% from the same quarter in 2020. Demand for its lineup. Demand is strong for its lineup, but customers clearly desire the brand's SUV, the Cullen, which starts from 335,000, so slightly less than that, Don.
Did you say the colon? As in the Powell? Colin Powell?
Cullinan.
Oh, Cullinan.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to have like, oh, here's your Cullinan and a nice barium shake to get you off the lot. Like we're not going to see into you, but we're going to see through you and all your financials. Welcome to the colonoscopy. I mean, the colon. You know what? Do you want the Dawn or
the colonoscopy?
Colonoscopy.
The Ghost, another of the brand's luxury sedans, other than the Phantom, which is the big SUV, also received strong sales figures starting at 332,000. Sorry, these numbers are so big for me. It's hard for me to even say $332,000. In addition to the Rolls-Royce being up that quarter, other brands as the Bentley, the Lamborghini also recorded extremely strong sales figures. Not record-breaking like Rolls-Royce was, but extremely strong. So since the start of the pandemic.
Everyone's buying, like, it just doesn't make sense. That's to me, it's ridiculous. Like, I understand buying things of like what I'm going to use at home. Like, hey, folks, let's buy vacation homes. You can't go there. You can't get to it. I'll buy a car. You can't drive it. What are you doing, you big goddamn lunk? What a fucking drungo. That's what I'm saying. What a drungo.
That's right. Well, I mean, most of these people keep it in the garage even before pandemic anyway. Think of Jay Leno, right?
Right, exactly. Well, that's always my joke. People are like, hey, how's your day going? It's like, well, if only I had a running car, a garage, and a hose, I would end it all. However, I'm lacking all three, and I don't have the will to find any one of them. That good old garage humor. People love it.
So, in an online presentation, the Rolls-Royce CEO, that Torsten Müller-Holtzvoss, said that the car maker sold.
Take it off, Holtzvoss. Take it off. Show us your umlauts. Yeah, das gut.
The dude has 3 umlauts in his last name. Anyway.
I'm just saying, like, that's why you got those fucking the people from Netherlands. They're just greedy with their punctuation. Between the French, their accent aigus and accent graves, and the umlauts in the Norwegian, how dare they?
And his 3 umlauts makes me wish I had 3 hands. So in that online presentation, he said that over the year, the company sold 5,586 vehicles to customers in more than 50 countries, the largest number in the brand's illustrious history, despite the volatility witnessed during the pandemic.
Crazy. The numbers are crazy. Like just over 550 countries. So it's like 10 per country.
5,586. Yeah.
Oh, 5,586. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, 500 per country.
Yeah.
I think we got a few more. I think we got our hands on a couple more. I would look to us more than maybe like Zimbabwe or Kenya.
Right. And according to that earlier statistic, the U.S. is the biggest market, with China being the second biggest. So I'm assuming that most went to those places.
Yeah, because we just have that stupid expendable cash that needs to be stupidly spent on stupid things. Ugh.
So in the luxury sector, the struggle for companies such as Rolls-Royce was not so much focused on attempting to find customers, but rather producing enough product to satisfy the huge customer demand. This is pretty common across all the luxury sectors of economics. So where most companies were struggling to find customers, the luxury sector was struggling to get their products out because there was such a huge demand.
Well, it's that same thing. We didn't do a show on fashion on Supreme, the brand Supreme?
No, I do know the brand, yeah.
So that whole thing of it's just like it's how you supply and demand and how you're going to control that. So if you overflood the market, there's not going to be as much demand, so people don't want it. But if you keep a tight hold on it, it's like, you know what, there's a waiting list. You motherfuckers are going to have to pay. And you're going to wait 6 months. Like all of a sudden, there's this huge hot demand for it. Like Supreme, you can buy a brick, like a brick, a piece of mortar that says Supreme on it, and it's for like $120. It's a brick. Like, why? But people
is it etched in?
That. Yes, I want that brick. But it's a fucking brick, right? It's like you can buy a wrench, like a full-on wrench to use in your workbench, a wrench for like $95. Like, why? Because it has this name and we're only making so many of them. They're in demand. It's the whole thing of supply and demand. Rolls Royce, we only make 5,000. You bitches want to get one? Wait in line. Consumerism is the best, man. I got to get on that train.
So they also announced the average age of its consumer in the United States and globally over the past year with this record-breaking sales. What do you think?
I would say I'm going to go ahead and say 65.
Okay. Now, as a counter, BMW, which also owns British brand Mini, the average age of the Mini buyer is 52. And the BMW brand itself, the average age is 55.
Right.
So the average age.
Go ahead.
Of Rolls-Royce buyers is 43.
What?
It is actually the youngest medium age of any car market globally. The youngest average age
weird.
of buyers of that car, the youngest.
Well, what about the Dodge Neon? Because their logo is high, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of young.
So that means that buyers are also much younger than that, like in their 20s and 30s. Maxie Khan Lilly, a 30-year-old South Florida real estate agent and model, says that her Rolls-Royce, the Dawn, that was the convertible version, is the only car that she has, and she takes it everywhere. She said, "It's my ride or die," she said, of her white convertible. This is a trend that is quite fascinating because they are the youngest. They are basically known as the top of the top, Lamborghini, Bentley, Rolls-Royce. Those are the rarefied air of luxury cars. As Pete would say, if you want a cheap, just get it with the basics. And if you can't afford that, then just go home. But with these guys, it's all starting at 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, depending on the model. Basic, no frills, no options added. But the sales of luxury vehicles are directly correlated with the stock market. So said Michelle Krebs, executive analyst at Cox Automotive. A strong market during the pandemic, one that has doubled the wealth of the 10 richest people in 2 years, may have pushed a certain segment of buyers to pull the trigger on that tailor-made $400,000 Rolls Cullinan SUV, or the $200,000 Bentley Continental. So yeah, it's a lot of a direct connection to the stock market. to it having a banner year in 2021 when most companies were struggling to recover from the halted economy during the shutdown of 2020. The richest got richer. Like I said, the 10 richest people in the world, they doubled their wealth over the last 2 years. So that's 2020 and 2021. Hey, you're a little tinny right now. Yeah, I can. You're a little tinny, but I can hear you. Sounds like you're on speaker. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah,
Am I
it's still
better?
tinny, but that's all right. Just don't mess with your phone too much because I'm getting some
Yeah, no, I'm plugged in. I'm just going to sit here quietly like a
Okay,
goddamn kid in the corner.
that's right. That's right. The last thing I said is so the sale of luxury vehicles are directly correlated to the stock market, which had a banner year last year. The 10 richest people in the world every single one of them doubled their wealth over the past 2 years. That's 2020 and 2021, where most of the
Ugh.
economy, most companies were struggling to recover from the 2020 economic halt. The luxury section, as I said, including Rolls Royce, just boomed because the richest got so much richer. And it's the 1%. It's literally that small amount because, they only sold less than 6,000 cars, but that's the biggest amount that they've ever sold in 1 year.
Right, right. It's like those people double their stuff while the rest of us, we halved our wealth. Like, hey, you know what? I decided I was going to eat out twice this week, and so therefore I'm half as rich as I was the start of the week.
That's right.
God damn you, Sizzler. Every time, Sizzler.
Let's get this message. Yeah, fiddle with your thing a little bit.
I'm going to join Pete in his ragings because I tell you what, I'm fucking sick of the stereo app. It's a piece of shit. Absolute piece of fucking shit.
Yep.
Because I want to listen to you guys. Yeah, sit out of the car, so fucking excuse me. Sit out of the car to meet a customer, come back in, and I'm fucking listening to somebody who isn't you guys.
Horseshit.
I'm like, well, that shit doesn't fly with me. I don't like that. I want to listen to what I want to listen to. I mean, it's like, okay, if I fucking wanted to play a fucking CD, put the CD in, and it started playing a fucking different CD.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why does it have the wrong fucking label on it?
What the sweet hell. And I
Nobody
know
uses fucking CDs.
Right.
But I can download music and be labeled one thing. Used to download music. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Streaming for the win.
Streaming for the win. Yeah, if people put CDs in wrong cases, at that point, that's when one of your children gets a fucking fresh one to the side of the head because that's a kid
That's
move.
right.
Why are my Blu-rays in the wrong case? Why are my CDs in the wrong case? Dad, why are you watching Blu-rays and CDs? All right, come here. You're all going to get a fresh one.
Well, if you like what you're listening to now, there's more Two-Sided out there. We are currently recording every episode of Two-Sided on the Stereo app every Thursday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, which are also live streamed on our YouTube channel, Two-Sided Podcast. We're on Instagram and Twitter. That's at Two-Sided Pod for both, at Two-Sided Pod, TWO-Sided Pod. And we have a Gmail for anyone to suggest a topic or who wants to come into our Tuesday Open Chat stereo shows. That's twosidedpod@gmail.com, TWO-sidedpod@gmail.com.
That's gmail.com. .com. Don't be afraid of the .com. If you like what you're hearing, we're live on YouTube right now. So smash that subscribe button, hit that alert button. If you don't, we will come to where you live and we will destroy your home in a fun party kind of way. But we're going to be there. So help me God.
And finally, our podcast has gone viral. You can listen to Two-Sided on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and elsewhere by searching TWO-Sided, Two-Sided. We'd love if you follow us on those platforms, subscribe, and hit that alert on YouTube, and follow us on stereo if you haven't already. We thank you kindly.
We don't. John does. I don't do anything kindly in my life, and I refuse to start now.
It's too late, John. This old dog can't learn those kindly new tricks.
Hey, fellas.
How you doing?
I'm Matt Bay here. How you doing?
Hey-o.
I am finishing up some fork knife shenanigans, and I'll be with you shortly. Just wanted to come in and show love and support.
Hey, she's a real nice. That's my lady friend right there. Ooh, yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl. She's a real. We got good people, man. Like, it's so weird. It's like I feel like I like some of our stereo friends more than I like our friends that I've known for years. Like, and maybe it's because I've known our friends for so long. Like, God, you're all pieces of shit. Like, these are good people. These are good people. They're pieces of shit, but they're good people.
Yeah.
So help me. You're in the will. You're not going to get much, but you're going to be in the will.
So I kind of wrapped up the Rolls Royce. Mentioned a 30-year-old real estate agent and model from Florida who says that her Rolls Royce, the original one that I was talking about, the Dawn, the convertible, is the only car she owns, and she takes it everywhere. She calls it's my ride or die. She said of the white convertible.
Oh yeah. And she's in Florida because that's the kind of person who say that shit proudly, loudly in a public forum. With
30 years
old. My ride or die. It's a ride or die, but it's a car. You got your ride or die partner. You got your lady friends. You got your man. You got your ride or die. Like, this is like, oh no, this motherfucker here. Like, this is ride or die. It's like, oh, I start my car and it's right. No, it gives me a ride or I die. No, it's a ride or die. You're covering my ass. You missed the whole point there. Real estate model from Florida. Ugh. You better get that colonoscopy because the Dawn isn't working out for you.
Well, so that's the funny thing. The Cullinan is the most popular brand that was sold last year. That's the SUV, and it starts at about $20,000 cheaper than the Dawn. So she actually is a little bit higher in the Rolls-Royce spectrum of this past year.
She leveled up. She went a little higher. She increased her character value. I wonder if that comes. Right. Well, no, of course it comes with different hardware. It's like, do I get a better gun? Do I have a better radar? Yes, all of those things. And my roof comes off? Yes, all of those things. Right. This is great. I have new skins, new weapons, new radars. Yeah, I'll fucking the Dawn for only 20 grand more. I'm in.
You ready?
I'm so ready, baby.
You're ready for our next lightning round.
Trash can house, little duplex next to the park with all the trash cans, lightning style. House. John has another question for you. Okie dokie, I'm getting weirded out. We all are too, Mr. Lightning. We all are too. Okie dokie.
Now this next segment of Lightning Round is one that I've been tweaking it, fine tuning it. It's accented answers. It started out as I would ask Pete different questions from the first Lightning Round and have him answer with a specific accent that I assign as to give him a little bit of an out. But now I fine tune it so it is the same. And now I realize that sometimes when the first Lightning Round doesn't go so well, maybe the next one will go much, much better.
Oh, wow. You, sir, are an animal who must be destroyed because if you didn't learn from your first mistake, you're not going to learn from these second ones. And now we're going to have it accented. Why we got to make this failure international, John? Why can't we keep our failures close to home? It's like, don't fight when the friends are over. Keep our family dirty little laundry inside the house. Don't make it with a fucking French accent. Okay, go on, Drungo.
So, this first question is, name 3 possible realities with an Irish accent.
Well, there's the Irish accent. It's more, you have the wee bit of your wee little ideas of See, I can't. Now I only think of Whiskey Chaser. All I think of is Whiskey Chaser. Scotland. Ireland.
Well, Sláinte. Cheers to you.
Cheers, my mate. All right. Okay, so 3 different realities that we didn't get the first time around, and now we do an accent we can't nail. Perfect. Okay. Hey,
so
boyo.
example. Okay.
Here's an example for you, boyo. If you just shut your mouth and let me talk first, you'll learn more than if you don't. First reality. My reality coming to you thinking you're being quite a fucking ginger-headed, red pube having, angry, questioning, fucking son of a patty. That's what I think. Number 1. Number 2 reality. Your reality thinking that this is good questioning. And also my line of inquiry is slowly fading on myself when I hear my voice going down. Also, reality number 3. Fuck you, I'll be at the pub. None of it, man. None of it.
Second question. Describe to us dimensions as they relate to physics as you know them. So height, width, depth, time, etc., in a Canadian accent.
Well, here's the deal, eh? If you have the heights and the widths and the dimensions, it's mainly I'm not scared of heights, eh? I'm scared of widths and depths. So I was out with my brother Wayne, and we were had a twofer between the two of us. And I said, "Oh, I'm pretty scared from being on this bridge." And he said, "I'm pretty scared from being on over the bridge from covering the lake." I said, "You're a hoser." And he's like, "Take off." And I said, "No, you take off." And then, and also there was a big bunch of trucks that had caravan. Fucking horrible. Canada. Oh, Canada. And then we went curling, eh? Fuck, John. This is a rough one for me. I'm so not into my... Yep, keep going. Let's just go hard. Let's push through.
Okay. Was there time and or space before the Big Bang? And how did it manifest in an Aussie accent?
Here's the deal. There was always time and there's always space previously, but sometimes it didn't fucking matter, right? You're fucking hopping around out there. Fucking think of time and space earlier was like a boomerang, right? You throw it out into nothing, but it comes right back at you. Fucking time and space. Boom. Drungo, boomerang. Boy, good on you, cunt.
And finally, is the universe infinite? Infinitely big in a New Yorker accent.
You asking me if this... Hey, like you've seen a bigger universe ever, all right? It may not be infinite, okay, but it gets the fucking job done, John. All right. Hey, Johnny Universe, is that what we're asking questions now? Mr. fucking Johnny Questions a lot? Here's the deal, all right? It's as big as it needs to fucking be. It's as small as it needs to be. You stop looking when you don't need to see anymore, okay? Big or small, you shut it down. You don't talk to nobody about the size you saw. Fucking Johnny Questions over here. All right. Let's go get a fucking slice.
And is it infinitely small?
Hey, I've never had any fucking problems or complaints, all right? My universe is doing A-OK. All right? Fucking pretty good.
Okay, good. That's it. No more lightning rounds for you today. That's it.
Oh, my God.
Maybe I shouldn't have such difficult questions when I do the accent.
Yeah. Maybe like if I can't get the questions right the first time, it's like, tell me about quantum string theory and how that relates to your worldview as far as the quantum economics in the socio-political standpoint from South America versus the NATO Pact in India. But this is not very good, John. We are not going to get far from here. Fuck you, man. I'm just saying. Maybe like,
shout out to physics. Shout out to physics.
Shout out to India. Shout out to India.
Yeah, this one I went with my nerdiest physics loving self, and I was like, you know what? A lot of these questions, like physicists can't. So they almost get into a philosophical. So I was like, it's open it enough. My boy Pete's a philosopher. He'll get it.
Nope. I want nothing to do with it because this is like, these are easy questions. You don't have to think. I'm like, dude, you're making me already. I can't even think of a goddamn joke, and now you're making me think of a thing. Like I either answer the question like a normal, smart human being, or make a joke like a funny ha 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 monkey boy dance for me. And when I can't do either, it's like, I guess this is the other side of the podcast where John asks questions and I look blankly into the screen and don't do anything worth reporting. Okay, back to you, Gingerbeard.
You're the gentleman from all around actually did much better in the lightning round than you did. The Irishman, the Canadian, the Aussie, and the New Yorker fared much better with those questions than my boy Pete.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, globally, they can do together what one stupid man can not do alone, is what I found.
That is correct. Let's get this message, and then...
Yeah, baby.
So I was, I had you back in, son. Well, I was streaming, and it was before I could get my headphones adjusted to hear what you guys were talking about. But all of a sudden, the guys are like, turn that off, turn it off. Okay. He said, what are they talking about? I was like, I looked at your title, I was like, I don't know, Rolls Royce, Cowboys. He said, what does the word minge mean to you? They aren't all that good on you. You just made a bunch of guys over there in England laugh their fucking asses off. So good on you.
Awesome. See, and that's how we all are tied together. It's like we wouldn't get a fucking how do you do? We couldn't get arrested in this goddamn town. It was for MFA. She's giving her props to like fucking people across the pond. It's like no, they're a bunch of idiots, but they're funny. Hear them out, fellas.
I want to try one more time.
She's a real mensch, John. Real mensch.
Can you bring the cord to the front? Maybe.
It's literally. Now I'm outside. I have unplugged.
Okay.
And now I'm plugged back in.
Oh, it's much better. I like it. Okay, good.
Does that feel better to you?
Feels better to me.
No one touch anything. Don't look me in the eye. Don't touch anything.
Don't you look at me. Don't you look at me.
Look away. No, look at me. No, look away. No, look at me. No, look away.
That is exactly how I played that out, Pete. Not that you're idiots, but I played out the whole two sides, and Pete's a dirty bastard.
Hell yeah, girl. I would expect. I hope you did. If you're like, no, they're both intellectual. Here's the thing. I listen to good podcasts from two old souls who have things to say. Nope. Because then they'd all question your thought process. Like, what are you doing? Hey, I'm listening to these fucking drungos. Hey, one's a real fucking asshole and the other one's pretty okay, but they're both fucking assholes.
Let's get into our final topic of the night. Yeah.
Yep. I'm ready. Yep. I'm ready.
You ready with a shot?
Yep. I'll do one more shot. You're gonna make a little fucking face right here. Oh shit, son. Oh, that could cause a problem later in life. Oh, hello.
This is
gotcha.
Concept and a profession that Pete and I both have parallels and connections to in one way or another.
Cheers.
Cheers to y'all.
Oh,
that's right. We're talking about Cowboys.
Okay. I'm interested to hear your connection other than growing up in Arizona.
And it's more knowing people. I am not a cowboy. I don't believe you are a cowboy. I was not meaning that. I just, because we grew up out west, we know farmers, we know ranchers, we know cowboys. Would you agree with
Closer than you are. We do. My uncle had a sheep ranch with horses. I grew up in a grape vineyard, so I knew tractors, which is anything to me. Cowboys is like, yeah, there's horses, but it's all like the hard work. You got to get up before the sun and have a shit job and fuck around. Like, all right, man, probably gonna get hurt. Most likely, one of us gonna get cut. All right, see y'all out there.
Yeah, and my grandma's younger brother, so my great uncle, is a cattle rancher up in Idaho. So that's my direct connection.
My cousin's uncle's roommate's nephew's next door neighbor saw a horse loose in downtown LA once. So
what does that make you and him?
Absolutely nothing.
So a little bit of the history, right? The completion of the railroads to the west following the Civil War opened up a vast area of the region.
Oh man. Okay, you said a quick summary, John, and that's one thing I want to put a pin in, because I would like to go back and talk about the completion of the railway system across the United States of America at some point, because that was a goddamn travesty how it was done, but provided connected the east to the west and Independence Point, and I highly believe in all that stuff. But if you look at the cultures, and you look at the goddamn people who came in and shed their lives for the transportation factor in this country, I say we need to talk about that. But now is not the time or the place. We're talking Cowboys. We're not talking cultural relevancy.
Manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny. Terminal velocity. Don't mind if I do, John. Don't mind if I do.
So the cowboy, because of white settlers pouring west of the Mississippi to mine, farm, and ranch. African American settlers coming to the west from the deep south post Civil War, because there was prospects of all black towns where they could feel safe for the first time in their lives or in generations, and a lot of Chinese railroad workers further added to this diversity of this newly populated beyond the natives. We're talking about the expansion of the Americas, not those who have been there for 10,000 years, but that's a whole different story.
Damn you, John. Now we're getting into the whole native set. Now we're getting we're hitting. Okay, fair enough.
So
my indigenous spirit is questioning your thought process by saying all these little backstories. Continue. I digress.
So a major economy of the West, because of the open lands as opposed to the East that was so developed even at that point, was farming, ranching, cattle ranching especially, and this is where the cowboys come from. The cowboys became a symbol of the West of the late 19th century, often depicted in popular culture as a glamorous and heroic figure.
Well, I mean, 100%. They were the man's man. They were the end all be all of this. The epitome is, if you look back, and now is not the right time, but the Marlboro Man, when back in like the 80s and 90s, even when we knew smoking was bad, it was like, shit, that is all that is man. Look at him, doesn't give a fuck. Sometimes I get on my horse and I look out on the sunset and I say, that'll do, pig, that'll do. It's like, God damn, you are all man. But yeah, then you realize, like, oh, you have throat cancer? That is not good.
Right.
Cowboy up.
So this stereotype of the white cowboy is far from true, because the first cowboys were Spanish, vaqueros. They, after introducing cattle to Mexico centuries before the United States brought their eminent domain, black cowboys were also rode the range. In fact, the Smithsonian, by the Smithsonian's count, 1 in 4 cowboys were black.
Yeah.
in 3 white cowboys, 1 black cowboy. You've never seen that in any movie, but that is it. That is how true it is.
You've seen in some of them, and that was one of the things that I thought, and that is how fucked up I was. Like, do you remember
Unforgiven?
Silverado?
Oh, Silverado, yeah.
And that was the first time when I was a young kid watching. I was like, what? A black guy and they're riding with him? Like, in my childhood mind, I was like, that's not like a Western. Like, it's not John Wayne and Lee Marvin. It's not all white guys. And in my childhood mind, I'm like, what? But then they really addressed that as far as like, nope, he's with us. And like, but yeah, same with Unforgiven. If you look at different, and there's the new movie on Netflix that's, it's a little bit kind of out there, but it's the same thing. It's a Old West, but it's all black town run by, and there's like good guys, bad guys, but it's all, it's very interesting. That whole thing.
And that's true. Like I said, there were many freed slaves or descendants of slaves that moved to places that were depicting themselves as all black towns for that safety and so that they could prosper. Like what is it? Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right. Yes, Tulsa.
Right. So that was a version of it when they settled that first. Then the white man came and created like seriously a bordered town next to it. And
right.
we know the travesty of that, and that's a completely different story. Right.
Again, a fourth story that John L. Peacock is like, hey, I'm going to mention these things and not let you go down these rabbit holes and take a path less traveled. Let's just stick with this story about cowboys, and I'll continue to pepper you with other information that you want to take like a goddamn pit bull and shake until it's dead. But nay, I won't. Let's talk cowboys, John. Let's not talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, that could be a different topic for a different time, I believe, because it was the black stock market. They literally called it that, and it was prospering so much more than the white one 100%. Because it was during the Great Depression. They were
right, and now you're fucking with me on this because now you took my bait and we're walking down this path. So let's talk, John. So Cowboys be damned, right? But this is the same thing. It's like, even the manifest destiny, you have the promise. That is the problem. That is the fucking inherent problem that we have as a country, even today. Like, our idea that there is the American dream of like, work hard, pull yourself up, do your thing, get your safety, get your security. You can make a life for yourself. That back then, that's what that and they did, and like they followed the rules. They did everything they could. And then, no, we didn't like it because you guys are showing us up.
Yep.
Now today, that idea, the dream of just work hard and try, it doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing. Like, you can't. There's no way to possibly just work hard and get by.
They kept moving the goalposts. They kept on moving it back and back and back. Yeah.
Exactly.
But they still say the same thing. That work hard is still is still pushed upon us. It's still quote unquote the American dream. Work hard and you will prosper. Right.
And it's just now it was a pipe dream before, but now it's a full lie. Like you have to get a break. You have to get a leg up somehow. There has to be a homie hookup. There has to be something that gets you that point. Otherwise, you're just going to grind your shit away, and you're here. You're stuck, and never going to get a leg up. Yep. Like, it's unfortunate, but our verbiage has not changed for this country. Our mottos has not changed, while the situation has drastically. And I think that is it's a travesty. It's a disservice to anyone growing up, anyone who's an immigrant, anyone who's coming over who has that idea that this is like a car in every driveway and a chicken in every pot and that kind of bullshit. Like,
right.
We're past that. We're like, hey man, try not to get shot and make ends meet.
We're generations past that. We're generations past that at this point.
Generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboys, man. Cowboys. Am I right?
So Cowboys played a central part in the nation's manifest destiny, which I want to correct myself. Even in episode about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, I said eminent domain. I meant manifest destiny in that moment. That's a completely different thing. But this manifest destiny of westward to wagons. We got to get from coast to coast. It's the American way, right?
Right. I said terminal velocity, which is 130 miles an hour. So if you fall out of a plane, your body cannot go faster than 130 miles an hour because that is terminal velocity. You just can't accelerate faster than that. So manifest destiny, terminal velocity,
eminent domain,
westward to wagon. Yeah, all the stuff. You know. Tally ho, my man, tally ho.
They actually helped to solidify the Western expansion that led to an ever shifting frontier. Without the profession of the cowboy, it would have been quite different. It would have been, America today would look quite different. But let's just go to their profession. So cowboys herded and rounded up livestock that were transported by rail around the country for sale. To distinguish what cattle belonged to which ranch, cowboys would brand the animals by burning a special mark into their hides, which took place during what they call a roundup. So they would round them all up. They'd let them go free for a year, have babies, whatever. They'd round up all the non-branded cows and it took between 8 and 12 cowboys to move about 3,000 head of cattle along the cattle drives. In addition to herding cattle, they helped care for horses, repaired fences and buildings, worked cattle drives, and in some cases helped establish frontier towns. So we're an integral part of this manifest destiny, of this expansion from coast to coast of the United States.
Right, and the thing with that, it's the idea that ethic, that work ethic, the get up, get done, get your chores done. Like the idea of chores, like the chores were never done. That is how my grandpa, they had a ranch. My dad was raised like that. My grandma and all the people is like, every time I go to grandma's house, all right, got to get up, got a lot of work to do. Like, what the fuck work do we have to do? A lot of work, got to get chores. There are no chores. You are suburban in Wichita, Kansas. There's no chores to be done. Well, gotta clean that thing out. But that ethic that kind of came through, and that is what built the country. That is because here's a group of people, a society of people who are just like, work is never done. I got to get up with the sunlight. I got to go to bed after I listen to some fiddle, drink some whiskey.
That's right.
But I got to get up by sunlight. That's work, baby. That's ethics.
So the cowboy typically wore large hats with wide brims to protect them from the sun, boots to help them ride horses, and bandanas to guard them from dust. Some wore chaps on the outside of their trousers to protect their legs from sharp cacti, needles, and rocky terrain. So here I want to pause a little bit from my research, and it's interesting because my family has an affinity for cowboys that I'm slowly discovering more and more in my later adulthood. That I didn't really get, that I didn't really understand. I knew my family always listened to country. I knew that my dad always wore big belt buckles like this one right here. It's nice.
Tiger.
And then sometimes belt buckles with a scorpion in it just for extra flavor. Cowboys also have bolo ties for when they want to look fancy. I got this one here from the Zunies in the New Mexico-Arizona border. And, of course, the typical thing that we know is the cowboy hat.
It doesn't fit at all. You know, you say all these things, and I'm waiting for the punchline. You're like, oh, I just wanted to talk about the thing. Like, you mentioned chaps. Like, chaps, folks, for my friends down under, sometimes you can wear them without pants. And it's just a little fun game to play with the missus. Hey, guess who's coming to town? You can get those sticks and burrs off your legs, but you can get all the fun underneath. Chaps. It's what does you right. Brought to you by Chaps.
So for those watching the YouTube channel, I just showed my connections of cowboy fashion which helped to dictate the Western fashion, the country fashion, and I mean country music, country and Western music fashion for 100 years plus at this point.
Yeah, no, we know the whole show's going on a downward spiral when John starts doing his like runway walk of like Fashion Week. And turn and left and turn and look and go and turn and ginger pews. All of them awful.
So Cowboys did occasionally develop a bad reputation for being lawless, and some were banned from certain establishments in the Western towns.
Well, yeah, bro, I feel like that's just giving Cowboys a bad name. Because how many bars have I been banned from in my life? It's not because I'm of my choices, of my work ethic, or what I appreciate. Just sometimes you get that fucking burr under your saddle and you got to put hands on someone.
That's right.
That's all there's to it. That's all there's to it. It's a cowboy in me coming out. Ding, ding. Time for the roundup. Can't come here anymore. You got to go home. You can't stay here. Go on. Get out. Go on.
When Cowboys lived on the ranch, they shared a bunkhouse with each other for entertainment. Some would sing songs, as Pete referred to the fiddle. They played the guitar or harmonica and wrote poetry. Cowboy poetry is a big part of the Western culture.
A huge thing, especially in the Southwest, out here in the United States. There's there's a cowboy poetry circuit and traveling cowboy poets, which is strange. The equivalent would be down under. They have, instead of harmonicas, they have didgeridoos and boomerangs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, because on a bunkhouse, it's fucking, here we go. And it's fucking, we fucking sleep in the back of a pub at night. And it's fucking, sometimes we get a mid-strength beer. Fucking drink them up. Fucking chuck a boomerang. Come on back, and we'll see you in the morning. Good on you, mate. Boy.
It's interesting that I didn't fully realize that that's where the term bunk beds come from, is the bunkhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Also, it leaves a lot of room in the space in the room for activities and other things if you stack your beds.
Right.
Look at all the space for activities we can do, is what all the cowboys say to each other. Hey, man, look at all this fucking space, man. Hey, man, we don't even have to play guitar over here. We can put it on the bed. Fucking, you like double Dutch? Hell yeah, I like double Dutch. Dutch. All right, Hoss. All right, Dutch. Let's double it up.
Double Hoss, double Dutch.
Don't mind if I do.
So some nicknames for Cowboys. Cowboys were referred to as cowpokes, buckaroos, cowhands, and cowpunchers.
Cowpunchers, yep.
Yeah, the most experienced Cowboys were called segundo, Spanish for second, and rode squarely with the trail boss.
Because anyone who's ever been on any kind of ride, moving a large head of herd of anything, could be cattle, could be horses, could be sheep, anything. There's the way you do it. You have your head, the head trail boss in the front. You have your two wings, and you have your trail draggers, basically. Yep. And depending on where you're going, what kind of herd you have, if you get stuck in the back, you're fucked, because that's where the bandanas come, because you are literally eating dust the entire time, but you have to get the stragglers. You're doing your job. Wings are okay. You're doing a lot more work. But if you're in the front with the trail boss, like, follow me, bitches.
Yep.
And no dust, no problems. You're not varying from your scale. Yeah, it's like all I need to do is worry about my didgeridoo tuning. Keep up, boys. Yep.
And again, this is where the term "eat my dust" comes from. It's the
exactly.
I'm the one in front of the 5,000 herd. You're the one in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, and also when you have that much, just so you know, there's not always just dust. There's sometimes shit. That's where the term "eat my shit" comes from, John.
Right.
Eat my shit. Cowboys.
So even though the Cowboys role began to decline in the 1920s, Hollywood movies popularized the cowboy lifestyle with westerns. From the 20s to, it says the 40s, but really to today in different ways. These films like John Wayne, Gene Autry, these were the big, these were the stereotypical ones that really informed, I think, a lot of yours and my childhood, because they created that stereotype that just expanded of the man's man, white cowboy, no
White
diversity.
Hat. Yeah, white hat, black hat. You can tell how a person is by what hat they wear.
Yep.
If you get up early and you work hard and you say yes ma'am, no ma'am, you're a respectable son of a bitch. God damn it. I'll see your ass in the bunkhouse.
And many of these westerns had the cowboy with the guitar, and that's where Western music comes from. It is specifically music that was written for those stars to play in the movies. So that's the how you differentiate between country and Western. It was literally the country music made in the Western movie style, quote unquote. So it's stereotypical. It was somewhat falsified. It was Hollywood.
Right. It was Blue Shadows on the Trail of the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Tiny baby, close your eyes and sleep.
All of the cowboys are in the corral. All of the work is done. Just close your eyes and dream, little pal. Yeah, totally.
Dreaming of the yeah. That is truly the old trail Western bullshit music, and that is my favorite. Like, we should probably play softer. We're going to attract predators, but you know what? It's our time on the trail. Stars are shining. Let's get us singing.
Yeah, and their horses are there. Then suddenly there's a coyote, but no one cares about the coyote. It's just going to bob its head along. Maybe some frogs are there, a couple of turtles.
No, I'm not talking about the movie, John.
Sorry, tortoises.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about literally in life. We shouldn't be this loud. There are predators out among us. That's fine. Sing away, little hoss. Sing away.
So some cowboys tested their skills against one another by performing in rodeos. The competitions were based on daily tasks of the cowboy. These included the bull riding, calf roping, steer wrestling, bareback bronco riding, and barrel racing.
Washing dishes, folding laundry, and carpooling at the local elementary school. All right, Hoss, you got 7 kids. They got to be there at 7:30 a.m. Traffic's a real bitch. There's no left turn lane. What are you going to do, Hoss? What are you going to do?
The first professional rodeo was held in Prescott, Arizona in 1888. Since then, rodeos became and continue to be popular entertainment events in the United States, Mexico, and elsewhere.
And to all those listeners out there, it's pronounced Prescott. It's not Prescott, even though it's spelled that way. If you're a local, it's Prescott, just like Melbourne. It's not Melbourne, it's Melbourne.
Yeah, it's not the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. It is the city in Arizona called Prescott.
Prescott. Yeah. Gesundheit. Farvergnügen. Okie dokie, Renault. Come on, Rolls Royce. Get him again, cowboy.
That's right. You have Rodeo Drive, baby.
I believe it's pronounced Rodeo Drive. And that, hey, and let me tell you one other thing, John. This shit, it ain't the Arkansas River. That's the Arkansas River, because that shit's mine. It runs through my state, Arkansas. Welcome to the party. Woo, Jayhawks. Woo, Jayhawks.
Shout out to Prescott. And actually, my boy Ed, his uncle is a cattle rancher in Prescott. We just visited him over January when I was back there in Arizona. I got to see a couple of his Clydesdales. And a couple of his donkeys. His cattle were out on the ranch, but yeah.
My good friend Jimmy, his uncle is actually a cattle.
Uh-huh.
Part of he is a cow on the So we went up and visited him.
So
on the range.
Jimmy's a centaur.
Yeah, but he's backward centaur. He's horse in the front, man in the back. It's very awkward. He's very top heavy. Like he wobbles around.
That's right.
Hard to get him into a car. That's why we ride in the Dawn. It's a convertible. Starts pretty good. He said colonoscopy because it's an SUV. I said, no, we need the convertible for your big ass. Jimmy the Centaur reverse style.
When I first met Mike, the Prescott rancher, he said, "Oh, in this place, we only listen to two kinds of music: country and western." And they had Willie Nelson's Roadhouse on.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Country and western. Yeah. Hey, there's only two kinds of things here: the right and the wrong. If you keep on talking, you're gonna be wrong. I'll tell you what, boy.
Don't get serious. We're only having fun.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? I'm just killing time. Well, don't leave any blood on the floor. All right, get them up.
So Cowboys continue to help run large ranches in states like Texas, Utah, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Arizona, and Montana. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2003, there were about 10,000 workers in the category supporting activities for animal production, which includes cowboys. So they're not plentiful, but they're still around. These workers made an average of about $19,000 a year, and more than 1 million beef producers in the U.S. are responsible for more than 94 million head of beef cattle. With all the livestock to manage, the cowboy way of life is still essential to American society.
Right. I mean, they don't make much money, but you get room and board, and it's that bullshit camaraderie. It's like, hey man, you like college? You have to party your ass off, work even harder with some good, real good brothers. Well, here you go. It's almost like joining a motorcycle gang or like a street gang, where it's like you're going to get jumped in. The shit you do is not going to be pleasant, but you're going to survive. This is literally your new family. Like this is.
Yep.
And it's your pay is whatever, but like, okay, my day off. Like, hey boys, you want to drink some whiskey and hang out in the bunkhouse? Like, you don't have days off. Like, even if you go to town, it's 20 miles away. It's like, well, I don't have a truck. Shit. Yeah, it's a different thing. So your extra payment is that camaraderie. It's that like the frat boy lifestyle. It's well, yeah, okay, yeah, you have health insurance because you're going to break a lot of bones. We'll pay you $10 a day, all the beans you can eat, but you're probably going to start a barbershop quartet group. Right. If not, it's going to be a whole fucking crap. Yeah.
So looking at Cowboys today, specifically the economy of, they are specifically for, my dad was a trucker. That some people say that's a modern cowboy, but it's not. The cowboy is a cowboy, right? He's a trucker. I'm a city slicker. I'm not a cowboy. I have those connections. My family was very fascinated with the roots. I have familial connections to cowboys, but I'm the one who moved out to New York. I'm the black sheep, if you will. I am a
right. You're a traveling man. You're a rambler. You're not the at home make the fucking hearth warm.
So I wanted to look at the Cowboys' economy today, and it turns out that this past year, and it's been leading up to it because it's been getting worse and worse. It wasn't just a sudden boom. It's been the worst year ever for cowboys and cattle ranchers. So judging from the price at supermarkets and restaurants of beef, you would think that it's a lucrative career for cowboys and for cattle ranchers. Because America is consuming more beef than ever, and prices have climbed by 1/5 over the past year, which is a primary look at the alarm over inflation. They're looking at beef prices specifically of how much it's gone up in the past year. But somehow, in between the American dinner plates and an 8,000 acre ranch on the high plains of Montana, Mr. Charter's share of his 66 billion beef cattle industry has gone missing. he has lost most of it. A third-generation cattle rancher, Mr. Charter, who is 69, has long imagined his 6 grandchildren continuing his way of life, but no profits in the past 5 years. And he's pondering the fate that has befallen more than 500,000 other American ranchers in the recent decades to sell off his herd and to go away from the business entirely. Do you want to know why?
I'm interested because I have a couple ideas, but go ahead. Why?
So since the 1980s, the 4 largest meat packers have used a wave of mergers to increase their share of the market. So four meat packers have gone from 36% of the market to 85% of the market, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Their dominance has allowed them to extinguish competition and to dictate prices, exploiting how federal authorities have weakened the enforcement of laws enacted a century ago to tame the excess of robber barons. The antitrust experts and advocates are saying for the ranchers.
It's the same thing as it's a monopoly. It's we own everything, and so when who comes up,
Yep.
If you want to sell, you're going to sell at this price to us or not to us because no one's going to pay more.
Yep.
It's like Harris Ranch. On the way driving from LA up to Northern California, if you take the Highway 5, you pass by the biggest cattle ranch, Harris Ranch, and it has like a resort, nice restaurant, hotel out there in the middle of nowhere. But I shit you not, you're doing 75, 80, and you pass by cattle for like 7 minutes. Like it's just acres and acres and acres and acres and just fields after fields of all these cattle. And it's like the smell of cow shit is stunning. Like, holy chives. But this is like, they're one of those big conglomerates who, nope. And that's, look at Harris Ranch beef. That's everywhere. Ugh.
Yeah. When I was young, I would wake up in the truck when my dad was trucking, and I would be like, "Oh, it smells cows," and people told me that for 10 years, so it embedded into my head, and it's because he was going through those farmlands. He was going through those areas.
There was up in where I grew up in Northern California, in between Sacramento and Stockton on the 99 freeway. There was a big cattle ranch. There was a private independent, but it was a big one. And he had a giant manure pile, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And they'd cover it with plastic bags and tires, so that it wouldn't blow away. And then it would they'd use it for fertilizer and all this stuff. But it was like just stinky, smelly, this big giant mountain. And there was all this legal battle to get him to stop because there's too many tires and too much smell. And literally, he was going to court. Like he was supposed to go to court, and the tires caught on fire. Like somehow there was a fire out there. But it was a giant hill. But then he died literally 2 days later of a heart attack before court and before they could put tires out. Like because it was smoldering shit, melting. Yeah, it was. My parents still lived up there in Northern California at that point, and it's like, Mom's like, we smell shitty, burny rubber. Still going. If the wind blows, we're a shitty, burny rubber family. It's in my mouth.
Right. And it's interesting because, these are the people who, feed us, who give us the meat that the United States is so much built on in so many ways. And there's a big push away from it, but that's not the reason why they're losing their money. They're losing their money because the people who they rely on, they used to be able to, what is it? The, sold the cattle
collars, the auction. Yeah.
Yep. That was a huge deal because there was competition. There were more than 4 people in that auction saying, this is how much I want to pay. And so it became, that's how they made their money back. That's how they survived another season.
Right.
That was their thing. 17 hours a day of work, hard working. Cowboys and even cattle ranchers do not have as long a lifespan as many other professions because of the amount of hard labor and long days and lack of sleep to do this, what they need. And now that competition, that cattle auction is gone. So there was a landmark piece of legislation, the Packers and Stockyards Act of 1921, that broke up enacted by Congress to safeguard farmers and ranchers by getting rid of the monopolies. That lasted for 60 years. And in the 80s, the Reagan era, he destroyed that, completely rolled it back while rolling back other restrictions and regulations.
Good old Reagan. Good old Reagan. You know what? Between that and the just say no, I learned so many different horrible things in my life. To just say yes and to be a cowboy up, baby. Horrible.
So the decline has really been since the 80s. It's not, like I said, it is not a pandemic thing, but it is a decline that has been of their economy. Specifically, I'm talking about the economy of the cattle ranchers and the cowboys. So there's no competition, said Ty Thompson, an auctioneer at the public auction yard in Billings, Montana, who also operates his own feedlots. We have so much supply and so little capacity that there's no negotiation whatsoever.
I believe what Ty Thompson says, like, hey, competition here, competition there, no competition, no competition, no competition anywhere. Here we go. Shit, no competition. I guess I'm going to go back to my trash can house. No competition. The less you know.
So in year 2021, that Rolls-Royce, in its 117-year legacy, recorded the biggest year ever. The cattle industry recorded its smallest earnings, and there have been so many farms and ranches that have had to close down over the past 10 years, but especially during the pandemic. And a lot of thought of is because the stranglehold of these four companies, they use the pandemic to their advantage. They literally, while making beef much more expensive, they were dropping their own price. You know, it was $1.35 a pound. It was like an average, a good. You can break even at $1.35. Then they go $1.10, and then they went 93 cents for many ranchers. So, like, literally gouging 50% plus per pound of cow.
Right, and the thing is, you're looking at your rate because your feed levels for a rancher that did not decrease. So your feed levels are still the same price. So you're looking at six months investment, and you're looking at hopefully 6 months you're going to get $1,000 a month, roughly, like a $6,000 gain from when you get a calf to raise it to being able to be sold. And now your margins are shrinking. And it's just like, okay, so I can't employ as many people because now I'm razor thin and now my shit's breaking down and I can't feed my cows as well. It's just, it's a self-perpetuating bullshit. Like that's why I grow my own meat, John. I mean, not scientifically, but I haven't done the dishes in a long time. And I'm pretty sure one of those growths can be considered beef in the state of California. I'm pretty sure.
That's not it has anymore.
No, it has a heartbeat and a backstory, and I'm pretty sure that when we cut into it with a nice sear, it's going to be delicious.
It's beat you at poker 2 or 3 times,
right? I'm saying I've had to herd it from the kitchen to the backyard. Don't make a mess in the house, little meat pie. Giddy up, meat pie. Woo!
So something that was integral to the expansion and continuation of the United States, especially out west, has been glorified and will continue to be glorified in Hollywood, in country music, and beyond. But I fear that it's really like we got 10,000 cowboys right now, and that was actually 2003. So I don't even know the current consensus. And I think that it's a dying profession. I think that they will find new ways of eliminating that excess price, and the meat packers will just do their own thing. And yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I mean, they're because now you're talking about how the FDA is going to have to control and maintain, because now, as much of a joke that I am growing meat in my sink, which could be a feasible thing, we don't know. We can neither confirm or deny at this point. Right. However, it is a thing. They are growing meat. They are actively growing meat. There's beef in a laboratory from cells, and they're like, yeah, you can cook it, you can eat it. It has all these same proteins. Like, I feel like that's the next step. They're going to like, well, shit, if we can't keep them hobbled and not in a field, we might as well just have a laboratory of like pulsating meat pies to be like, ooh, what do you want in New York? Hold on, let me go to warehouse 4. I could pull one out of there.
Yeah.
They're throbbing nicely.
The porterhouse, it's not quite ready. It's not quite throbbing yet.
Yeah. Horrible. Ugh. But still, I need it. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So that's Cowboys.
That's Cowboys. And that's Cowboys.
Let's get to some of these messages, yeah?
Yep. Pop them, baby. Yeah. Oh, that was my tinny tin tin.
I want me a 10-gallon hat.
Hey, man, you got a 10-gallon head and a 4-gallon hat. You need to pour some of that cranium out. I'll tell you what right now. Giddy up.
Oh, you guys hit a harmony, Pete. You should have kept singing. I like the harmony.
We're kind of like Ebony and Ivory, but a ginger man and homeless Pete. Together we get in stereo streets and bitch and moan all the time because we're two-sided pod.
Something like that.
Yeah, it is. It may also be known as beef in the state of California, but it's also known to give you cancer in the state of California, but only in the state of California. It doesn't give you cancer anywhere else.
Right. And that's one of the other third dimension, the state of California, the state of denial. Those are all the things.
It's funny that even in Australia, they know about the specific labels that say, in the state of California, it is said,
right.
My sister, the licensed contractor, she's like, every paint, everything in the state of California, this is known to give you.
Yeah, but if you step over the state line into Nevada, you are free as a bird, my friend.
That's
no
right.
Cancer here. No cancer here. Welcome to the party.
That's right. And thank you. It's Nevada, not Nevada, ladies and gentlemen.
Nevada.
I hate the Hollywood movies that the people who are supposed to live in Nevada say Nevada.
Right. Yeah. I hate that. Oh, no.
Oh.
I do like that, and it is true. If you watch the Saturday Night Live of the little sketches of like, oh no, well, I took the 405 down to the 101, and I got off on the 604, and then I got on Tahunga, and I took a left on. It is so on the nose for people out here because like even if it's not that bad, it's like, oh dude, how'd you get here? So I took the 101. It was bullshit. Well, did you take the 10? You should take the 10.
Yeah.
No, the 10 is backed up. Like everyone, they all have the same things. Like instead of like, oh, really? The numbers of freeways are the fucking death of me.
We got another one.
I didn't think denial was in a state. I thought denial was in the country of Egypt.
It flows backwards here because you're on a different side of the equator. The toilets flush to the left, and the denial flows upwards.
That's right. It actually does. You're right. It's one of the few rivers that flows from south to north. Anyway, we got sources. So the sources for this episode of Two Sided have been, for the first segment, okay, so I used Wikipedia. I wanted to go straight to the Rolls-Royce website for its background, for its history. And you know what? They didn't have any history in that website. And then I learned from Wikipedia why. Because they've only been around since 2003, and they couldn't ultimately claim the 117-year legacy of Rolls-Royce. So Forbes.com Yep. Explain how Rolls-Royce achieved a record-breaking 2021. CNN, Business and Business Insider. For the Cowboy segment, the LOC.gov, United States History Primary Source Timeline, History.com, AZCentral.com, shout out Arizona, WideOpenCountry.com, and the New York Times.
And all of my retorts were brought to you by alcohol, Sailor Jerry's mostly, and a little bit of Pete's Ragings. Some of my angst from my childhood of not being hugged enough or hugged too much, and a lot of the pent-up aggression that I hold today in the shape of a ginger-headed troglodyte named John L. Peacock. Those are my sources.
Oh my God, Mr. V, that's on point. You're hilarious. So my next better, and I'm really stoned. So I just ordered food from Insomnia Cookies.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's right. I'm getting cookies and milk brought to me.
God damn it. That is why I love the world we live in today. It's like, you know what? I'm going to have cookies and milk because I'm high as fuck and I deserve it. Giddy up.
That's right.
Giddy up.
My boy Pete, is there anything from this episode that you'd like to take a second look at, a second guess, a second opinion? This is Pete's Retraction Corner.
No, there would be if I had done my homework. I just didn't have the wherewithal to look up your goddamn stupid questions and deal with your quantum entanglement theories and things that you brought to me. I did not have the emotional strength. I feel like my retraction should be that I should have been more Johnny on the spot. But God damn it, John, I still feel like I outperformed you. So therefore, got to get while the getting's good, baby.
That's right. Well, we're going to be wrapping up. I just want everyone to know who's listening live right now, we will not be doing our green room tonight because we're busy people. We got stuff to do. We're just
Yep. The dogs are chomping at our heels. We hear the choppers are coming. It's time to circle our wagons in a tighter fashion in a different locale in the valley.
That's right. You want to do a shot before we head out there, my boy Pete?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Okay.
Ready to go. Also, I need to start looking in the mirror before we get on these things. Like every time I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Looking good,
shit.
Feeling good, looking good.
Yeah, looking good. I was like, God damn, I didn't look Corey was like, hey, you don't look any worse than you always do. I was like, you know what, John? That's a real piece of shit thing to say. Appreciate it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Love you, brother. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We have our open chat show on stereo every Tuesday, same start time as tonight. So if you'd like to join us or you want to throw some topics out there, email twosidedpod@gmail.com. That's TWO-sidedpod@gmail.com. And we got a quick message, so I'm going to pop that real quick.
No. All right, guys. Well, have a good one. Great show.
I adore you, MFA, Mr. V. You guys, you're fucking great people. We'll all catch up and we'll get to the brass tacks of the matter at some future date.
Yep.
And we'll chop that up. But yeah, appreciate the hell out of you. Follow us on Spotify. Mr. V, looking at you, we don't have anyone down under. John gives me the demographics, and I know for a fact that you are not following us on Spotify because we don't have any Aussies. And I know for a fact, I know where you live. So help me God. Fucking chuck us a follow, mate. Two-sided pod on stereo.
Those who are listening to us on Spotify, you better be following us because, as you can hear, we are very violent with our biggest fans. So who are you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. So help me. This is a family. This is the dysfunctional family. It's the fun in dysfunctional, but so help me. Also on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the alert button. We're here every Thursday live on YouTube. Tuesday is open chat, stereo, Spotify,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. We're going to be performing live at Mr. V's workshop here in the next half quarter.
That's right.
Once we get off the range, we're going to do a whole roundup. We call the old two-sided roundup at Mr. V's Sharpie Warehouse, Grindy.
His bunkhouse.
His bunkhouse, the old roundup of the Mr. V's bunkhouse with two-sided. Look for the posters and flyers around your college campus.
That's a wrap for tonight. I'm John L. Peacock out in Brooklyn, New York.
And I'm my boy Pete here in Southern California.
And this was our show. Join us again live on the Stereo app next and every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, as we talk about the two sides of life, the fun and the serious, here on Two Sided. I love you, Pete.
Cheers, mate. Talk soon. Oof. Holy shit.